Hi, friends! Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author, Letters from a Bookish Fangirl, and Team Lines of Poetry collection. Welcome to a clean manga recommendations video. I am so excited for this video today, as I am all my clean manga recommendation videos, because the world needs more clean manga. And there is clean manga. I am constantly finding clean manga. It's mind-blowing. I wouldn't have guessed that just a year ago that I would be discovering these stories that I really enjoy and don't have inappropriate content that I prefer not to read personally. One of those manga, I don't even know how I discovered it, to be honest. I believe I was looking up a different series. I think that was Crimson Hero. I happened to come across today's manga and I was like, you know what? This sounds really good. Let's just go ahead and check it out from my local library because they had all 10 volumes. I finished it last night as of recording this video, and oh my goodness, it was an adventure. I am so sad that this manga is over, that I completed it. What said manga am I talking about? Beauty Pop. Mine has the library barcode. I don't know why the branches that I get manga from, that they put the barcode on the front. I'm like, this is the front cover, put it on the back. Anyway, that is a random tangent. But yes, Beauty Pop, and I will actually put up the very shiny non-barcode cover because this cover is so fun and I absolutely love how Kiri looks on it. She's just a really interesting character and she looks so cute and so sweet on this cover. Beauty Pop is actually about Kiri, who is a pretty awesome hairstylist, but she has no motivation to actually be one. She's not looking for fame or recognition, unlike the Scissors Project, which is a beauty club makeover group in the school that she's attending who wants to be the best beauticians in Japan. What they do is basically they handpick girls in their school and they give them these fantastic makeovers. They do their hair, they do their nails, they do their makeup. As much as Kiri tries to shy away from the Scissors Project and not have anything to do with them, it's just not happening. She is naturally getting drawn into the Scissors Project, and so hence is the whole entire Beauty Pop manga. Guys, I don't even know where to start. I had so many feels when I finished yesterday. I was actually upset at myself because I was getting near the end and I told myself not to cry. I started crying for two different reasons. One of the reasons I can't get into because that is spoilers, but the other one was just because I've really enjoyed these characters. They just have been such a fun adventure to be on and be with these last however many days I have been reading this manga, and I was not ready for it to end. In fact, I caught myself sort of dreading to read volume 10, and I was like, why would I dread reading it? We're finally at the romance aspect of the story. Things are pretty intense. You want to know how it ends, Laura. Why would you be putting it off? I realize it's because I just wasn't ready for it to end. And if I don't read it, it doesn't have to end. But then I don't know the ending. But I did read it. And like I said, I did actually cry because I was just sad that it was over. Our main heroine, Kiri, is one of a kind. I have not read a manga heroine like her. I think I've read similar manga heroines. I'm sure that I have, but I also haven't read a lot of manga. And it was just sort of funny to me to see this girl who's just not aspiring to do much with this gift, with this talent that she has, when these guys are working their butts off to be the best that they can. And she's really just an interesting character. She's sort of dazed, unfazed, not that interested in a lot of things, but she's also extremely compassionate and caring for her friends, for the people that she loves, even if she doesn't always show that way. I also like how she can be bribed with food because she loves to eat and she loves her orange juice, and that was a really interesting and fun aspect as well to her character. Also, Shampoo, her cat, was totally adorable. I can see why in the popularity poll that he was 2 points under Narumi. or 2 votes, excuse me, under Narumi, because Shampoo is just like such a fun character. I absolutely love how Kiri just has a soft spot and compassionate spot for animals, and reading the story of how she gets Shampoo and how she took care of him was like so incredibly moving. There's another bonus short story that involves another animal that she had, and oh, I almost cried reading that. Like, that was a wrecker of feels because it just was so moving. It's almost like outside of Kiri's usually her normal personality with her friends, like I said, where she's sort of like dazed and she's always tired and seems almost, you know, not energetic. But then you see her in these short stories where it's still her, like it's still true to her character, but it's like a different side of her. And I love that. Like, the bonus short stories, for whatever reason, tend to be a favorite of mine in manga. Like, I love when manga creators include them because I feel like it gives a different aspect to the characters, but also they are usually pretty funny. However, these ones were more moving than they were necessarily funny, but that wasn't always true because sometimes you'd have like one that would make you sort of like tear up and the other one that would have you laughing. Another thing about Kiri and just this manga series, like, there were so many surprises. First off, I'm going to try and keep this in order. First off, I did not think you could have a shoujo manga where romance was not the actual focus of the story. Like, the romance in this manga was so different from anything else I've read. Even when we finally get to certain parts and get certain things, it was not how I expected it to be. I wouldn't say it was bad. I do feel maybe my ship-loving heart was a little bit maybe disappointed, but it was true to the characters, and I feel like it would have actually been a little bit weird if there had been something different because Kiri has a really interesting relationship with the person that she likes. It really wasn't until at least after volume 5 where you're actually seeing that maybe there is going to be a romance, which I actually really like because the first 5 volumes, at least, it might have seemed like people did like Kiri, but like she expressed no interest in anybody, and unless like you're reading between the lines, it's almost like it would pass over kind of thing. And even when the romance does actually start picking up and it's not seeming so subtle, in its own kind of way, it is a very sweet kind of slow burn kind of romance. I think this manga did an excellent job of going from like acquaintances to friends to possibly to something more. That was just so well done, and I was really excited just to read a manga series where there wasn't a bunch of romantic drama. Yes, there was some drama at the final 2 volumes for sure, especially in volume number 9. Brace yourself for that drama. But I guess I felt it wasn't over the top. It wasn't drawn out. It wasn't like overly long. Since romance is not a huge part, and I almost wondered, is there going to even be a romance? I mean, I sort of assume because you have these last 2 covers, Ochiai and Narumi are on the cover, so I'm like, okay, are we? I mean, I almost thought we were gonna have like a love triangle of sorts, which was not the case, thankfully. I was really excited about that. I can't even say I really had anybody in the beginning in mind of who I wanted Kiri to be with. Actually, the person later on that I did want her to be with, she didn't get with, but I was okay with that because that said guy character had a really happy ending, and I was so incredibly happy because I actually liked that ship better than when I want him to be with Kiri. So that was really exciting. Talking about the romance aspect, so I'm going to be honest and say I did not like Narumi that much in the beginning. He was probably definitely one of my least favorite characters. I don't think many people like Narumi from the beginning. He's very angry, he's hot-headed, he's loud, he can be really rude and mean. But as the manga progresses, you get more inside scoop to his family life and to his own passions and his own drive and dreams. And yes, I do think he's probably just naturally hot-headed, but you also can see he's very passionate about cutting hair. He's very passionate about furthering his dreams and literally wants to be the best hairstylist in Japan and believes that he can be. He has studied and worked so hard for what he's doing. And I feel like seeing that competitiveness in him, as well as that passion and that drive, that it does make Narumi a little bit more I don't know if friendly is the right word. I'm not sure what the right word would be, but I liked him more as the manga progresses, especially when you do see the nicer sides of him and you do see how he cares for his friends. And you do see that even though he makes fun of Kiri so often, that he really does have feelings for her and does care for her just as a friend and eventual romantic interest. I loved the Scissors Project. I loved the three guys in the group as well as like as Scissors Project was growing. I loved everybody absolutely in Scissors Project. I love the dynamics of this group and the humor that they bring and their interactions. I laughed so much. It was just really fun to see them all come together and see just their awesomeness and the things that they do. And oh my goodness, the things that they can do. So Beauty Pop actually reminded me of when I was in high school. I loved America's Top Model. Like I could care less about half of the show and all the drama that they had on the show. But the last 10 to 15 minutes, as you see just the incredible work that like the hairstylist did, the makeup artists, and the poses that the models are doing, and the places that they are doing the modeling, was incredible to see those final photos. Like, I loved it. It was such a transformation, and seeing these makeovers in Beauty Pop just was so cool. Like, I know some reviews said, like, it gets sort of boring when you see the same makeover over and over. Well, I mean, they're different makeovers, but there is almost a makeover in every single volume. I personally love that. I loved seeing how they were able to transform different like girls and how that they looked, and they would make decisions of what hairstyle they should have or what makeup they would have based on their personalities or based on their hair, their face shape. I love that. And then you just throw in a time limit, and it was just fascinating. And you find out these little tips sort of, or even tricks about hairstyles. I guess it'd be more about hair than hairstyles itself, but about your face structure and things that you can do to keep up with your hair, or just, I don't know, just some small like tips, I guess, as well as just into the background or the lifestyle of a hairstylist. Like, I really, really, really enjoyed that. Like, I just loved it. Every volume I was excited for those parts. And then when you throw in rivals on top of that, wow, like this manga creator does a fantastic job of writing like the villains and the rivals to the Scissors Project or to Kiri or Narumi. One of them, Second Place, is really funny. And yes, that is his nickname, Second Place. He was a really interesting rival. I'm trying to think of who would be my favorite. I can't say names, but one of them, I was really, really impressed how the manga creator took his storyline and just transformed it at the end. It was, it makes me just like want to tear up thinking about it, because it was surprising and it was really moving, and it just showed how awesome Kiri is for her to do what she did with this certain character. It just made volume 10 so much better in my opinion. Like, I loved how we had all this like good romance in volume 10, but that certain character's storyline was just fantastic, and I would have loved to hear more about him. I mean, I think the volume is great, even not knowing more about that character's story. Definitely would have like been even, I think, like extra icing on the cake to see what happens next for that certain character. That was really, really, really good. I will warn, there is one inappropriate scene that I really, really, really disliked. I believe it was at the beginning of volume 9. And I get that some of these things in manga are supposed to be funny. I honestly get that. But to be honest, I was just really irritated by it. I felt it was unnecessary and inappropriate. That is the only like probably non-cleanish spot in the manga, so I would definitely be aware of that if you're looking for like, you know, questionable content. That is the only place that I can say that I was pretty bothered by. There is some other humorous spots that come with misunderstandings, so I would say that this is a clean manga more geared towards teens and up, but it is definitely one that I'm really excited that my library had. Thank you, library! It was just so refreshing, and I was just surprised how you can have a shoujo manga with little to no, barely romance for over half of it, and even when the romance part comes, that it's not usually the main focus. and that there's just not all of this drama. Yes, you do have some because that is high school, but overall you have just this really humorous story about these friends doing the best that they can and seeing Kiri's journey from the beginning of how she was to how she was in the end. That was absolute gold. That was really, really good. I think almost all of these characters had a fantastic story arc. I know the manga creator mentioned that sometimes she felt that her characters were sort of immature, and maybe they were, but I loved them. I thought they were fun. But you can definitely see the maturity growth that they had by the end. Lots and lots of great things about this manga. I almost forgot to mention the art. So this was another fun little surprising thing. I have not seen shogo art illustrated in this kind of way. I'm not even sure how to describe it. So usually all of a manga is just absolutely stunning. The art is just so beautiful, especially in shogo. That's no exception in Beauty Pop, for sure. No exception whatsoever. However, I was really interested and just sort of mind blown how this manga creator was able to create Kiri's personality through simpler drawings, and even Narumi's, and even some of the humor, which I have seen, I believe, in other mangas where they used more simpler drawings to make it funnier, to reflect a certain tone or attitude or any of those kind of things. But through the whole manga, it was just interesting how the beautiful parts of Kiri when she's drawn were made to reflect something different. And Kiri was usually drawn more simpler, with her expressions, than she was more beautiful. And I love that. I caught myself as a manga creator myself. I just was reading almost from a writer perspective at times, wondering, how is she doing this? How is she conveying this personality and this much tone of just who Kiri is in these small little panels? I highly recommend Beauty Pop to those who like makeover kind of shows or makeover kind of reads, who like where the romance is sort of more low-key than the focus of the story, as well as just lots of humor woven in. If you have read Beauty Pop, totally let me know in the comments. I would love to hear who is your favorite character, which of the volumes did you like best, if you can decide, because that is a really hard question. If you haven't read Beauty Pop, let me know. What do you think? Are you interested in this manga? I'll leave the links below if you want to check it out to learn more about it. It's a great manga. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!